Have you ever just stopped and wondered if there's a reality out there that we're literally not equipped to understand yet? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today in this explainer. We're diving straight into artifacts, monuments, and phenomena that completely shatter the established boundaries of human history and science. You know the saying, there are some secrets of the world that only grew older with time, but their answers have never been found. It really hits the nail on the head. For centuries, humanity has stumbled upon discoveries that just completely defy logic. And it forces us to ask, are these just glitches in our historical record, or are they profound truths that remain just out of our grasp?
To make sense of all this, we're going to break things down into three main areas today: unsolved ancient tech, massive mysterious structures, and the puzzle of science and faith. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Chapter 1, Unsolved Ancient Tech, we're looking at knowledge totally out of time. These are intimate objects, things you could literally hold in your hands, that inexplicably demonstrate ancient knowledge that frankly just shouldn't exist.
Okay, consider the sheer impossibility of the Voynich manuscript. Discovered back in 1912 by a rare book stealer, carbon dating proves this physical book is about 600 years old, so we're talking 1400 to 1440 AD. But here's where it gets wild. It's written in a script and language that matches literally no known human civilization. Zero. It's got illustrations of plants that don't exist and stars that medieval Europe couldn't have possibly known about. And strangest of all, it depicts naked women bathing in this bizarre green liquid connected by tubes and pipes. It almost looks like a schematic for some unknown technology. Whether it's a lost medical text, maybe a message from another world, or just an incredibly elaborate medieval hoax, the fact remains, even with today's AI and advanced cryptography, this book is an absolute uncrackable puzzle.
Now, if a book can hide its language, our next artifact hides an entire era of lost science. Enter the Antikythera mechanism. Discovered by Greek divers in a shipwreck in 1901, this crusted piece of rusted metal turned out to be, wait for it, a 2,000-year-old analog computer. Let that sink in for a second. It's got 37 precise metal gears, dials, and wheels working together just like a modern clock. It calculated planetary movements, predicted eclipses, it even tracked Olympic game dates. So the real kicker is this: how did people 2 millennia ago have the precise tools to create such advanced metalwork? And honestly, how did a game changer like this just vanish without a trace, leaving the rest of the world totally in the dark? Moving on to Chapter 2, Massive, Mysterious Structures, or Impossible Architecture. We're shifting from objects you can hold to breathtaking geographical wonders carved right into the earth itself. Picture this. In the dry, windswept deserts of Peru, a civilization between 200 BCE and 600 CE created something that completely defies human perspective: the Nazca Lines. By scraping away the reddish-brown topsoil to reveal the lighter earth underneath, they created over 300 massive geometric shapes and animal figures. We're talking a giant hummingbird, a spider, a monkey. But here's the catch. These designs are so incredibly vast, they can only really be seen and understood from the sky. And since airplanes definitely didn't exist back then, it sparks some wildly different theories. Were they an astronomical calendar? Ceremonial pathways? An underground water map for desert survival? Or, as the more thrilling theories suggest, were they alien landing marks meant for aerial identification? Who exactly was supposed to be looking down at these? Let's shift our gaze over to Egypt, 4,500. That's how many years ago the Great Pyramid of Khufu at Giza was built, and it was constructed with such mind-boggling precision that it literally still astounds modern engineers today. But the mystery didn't stop in ancient times. Actually, back in 2017, a project using muon radiography, which is basically a cosmic ray imaging technique that detects hidden spaces, made a massive discovery. They found a hidden, securely sealed void inside the pyramid that is roughly the size of a commercial airplane. Is it a construction corridor, a royal burial chamber, or maybe a vault of ancient technology? Because we can't physically enter without destroying the structure, it remains this brilliant, tantalizing secret. Now, let's jump to a tiny, isolated spot in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Easter Island. Get a load of this number: 80. That is the staggering weight, in tons, of some of the massive Moai statues standing there. These immense stone figures, which range from 13 to 30 feet tall, were carved from mountain quarries and transported kilometers across the island. And the crazy part? They did this using only primitive stone tools. No machines, no iron, nothing.
And this perfectly shows how mysteries can literally deepen. See, for centuries, people thought these were just giant stone heads, but recent excavations have revealed massive, fully carved torsos buried completely beneath the earth. These statues are entire human bodies. Now, local legends strangely claim that these statues walked to their locations all by themselves. And honestly, when modern engineers still scratch their heads over how ancient islanders moved 80-ton giants, those legends start to feel like the only plausible explanation for how these silent guardians took their posts.
Which brings us to our final section, Chapter 3, the puzzle of science and faith. Here, we're scaling up to intangible phenomena and mysterious imprints that completely blur the line between scientific reality and supernatural belief. The whole enigma of the Bermuda Triangle is perfectly captured by a terrifying sequence of events from 1945, the disappearance of Flight 19. 5 American Navy bombers departed on a routine training mission. Mid-flight, the pilots reported their compasses were failing and directions were completely unclear. Hours later, radio contact just abruptly disconnected. All 5 planes vanished without a single trace. But the absolute most chilling part? The rescue planes sent to search for them also completely vanished. Just like the massive Navy ship, the USS Cyclops, which disappeared years prior with over 300 people on board without even sending an SOS.
To even try to understand the triangle impartially, we have to weigh some wildly contrasting theories. On the scientific side of things, we've got methane gas eruptions from the ocean floor that could change water density and instantly sink ships, or maybe natural magnetic fields completely disrupting compasses. But then on the supernatural side, theories suggest it could be an extraterrestrial base for abductions, or even the lost underwater city of Atlantis with its advanced ancient technology still humming away beneath the waves. Despite thousands of investigations, we really just don't have a conclusive answer. This exact tension between strict science and the profound supernatural is brilliantly captured by our next artifact, the Shroud of Turin in Italy. It's a faint image of a bearded, crucified man imprinted on an ancient cloth. And here, science and faith are at a complete standoff. On one hand, carbon dating from 1988 suggests the cloth is only about 700 years old, implying it's a medieval fake. On the other hand, the radiation or miracle theory points out that the medically accurate crucifixion wounds, which match the biblical account down to the nail holes, along with the 3D negative imprint, resemble a supernatural flash of light radiation. Experts say medieval science simply could not have faked such a complex image. So we're left to neutrally weigh whether this is a brilliantly crafted medieval illusion or physical evidence of an inexplicable, miraculous event.
And that brings us to the end of our journey today. As we look back at the uncrackable Voynich manuscript, the impossible Antikythera computer, the massive underground Moai bodies, and the vanishing acts of the Bermuda Triangle, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question directly inspired by all this. Is our history not as simple as we've been taught? Perhaps there are whole chapters of the human story still waiting to be truly understood? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the unknown.